Let's get going.
Okay. Okay, let's get started. Hello, everyone. How's Ignite going? Yeah? You folks like monitoring? Yeah, great. We love you. That's our passion here. First show of hands, how many of you use Azure Monitor, App Insights, Log Analytics, already using it?
Pretty much everyone.
Okay, yeah, wow. I have a captive audience here. Fantastic.
Good.
Today, our session, I'm going to walk through, Evgeny and I are going to walk through all the capabilities, give a full stack view of Azure Monitor. We have some new announcements today. We'll walk you through that. It's going to be a very demo-rich presentation, so most of the session will be demo. And we should have enough time for questions at the end. But first, I'll start with an overall overview of where we're headed, how we're thinking about monitoring, how we're rethinking, actually, putting various pieces together. And then, you'll see the demo in context of all of that. When we talk to customers, different customers, are at different stages in their journey to the cloud. Some of them are still have a hybrid environment. They want us to help them monitor those environments. Some of them are migrating to the cloud. As part of that, they may be modernizing pieces of it, especially to drive more agility, maybe use containers, or think about re-architecting the app, parts of the app for better security. And others are, building apps born in the cloud, rich on containers, microservices, want to use the latest technologies, and they want to use the latest in monitoring, right? So we meet a gamut of customers, have a wide range of needs. But what everyone says is, uniformly is, I need a visibility end-to-end, from the app, what happens to the app, how the customer experiences it, all the way down to the various components of the app, the health and performance, and down to the infrastructure. So from your app down to the infrastructure, by that I mean your VM and storage environments where the app runs, to lower-level layers like the network. And some of them say, many of them actually, when they come to the cloud, hey, I want to also rethink my monitoring strategy. When they come to Azure, they say, you guys are the cloud provider, platform provider. You tell us how we should monitor in your environment. What are the things we should be collecting? How should we do it? So many of them looking for one tool, one set of tools from one vendor, so to speak, to provide that full stack view. Right? With that in mind, Azure Monitor, the goal of Azure Monitor is to provide that full stack visibility, the observability across your app, infra, network, the whole stack. And that's direction we're working towards. And you'll see many pieces of that already, right? Rich set of capabilities. So what does it have? At the fundamental level, there's a common platform where we pull all the telemetry together. This is a platform for metrics, logs. We collect data near real time and make that available. And once that data is there in the common platform, we provide a number of insights. You can look at it, by component or major component. We provide deep domain-specific insights. Like for your custom app code, we provide application insights that lets you monitor and improve the performance of your app. If you're running your app on a VM or a container environment, we provide Azure Monitor for containers and VMs that lets you monitor that infrastructure, really manage the health, and get the most optimal use of that compute environment so that your apps run well, right, running on that environment. And also below that, we put all the data. We keep all the data in one analytics platform, so that all the data is correlated. So you are able to do rich and deep analytics, ask your own questions, and get answers to that in a very performant way. And then monitoring doesn't exist by itself. There are a variety of other tools it needs to plug into. So the tools could be from DevOps, like your work item management tool, your pipeline integration, CI/CD tools, all the way to your security SIEM tools and ITSM tools. So out of the box, we recognize that you work in a complex environment with other tools. So out of the box, we integrate with a set of tools already from us, from Microsoft, as well as with our partners. And also we expose a number of APIs, SDKs, webhooks, etc. So you can plug it into Azure Monitor, into your own custom tools. Okay. So this is how we think about Azure Monitor. It supports the full spectrum, a full stack monitoring, give that full end-to-end visibility with a rich analytics environment, and it plugs in nicely to the rest of the ecosystem you might be using in your environment. Let's drill in deeper. What does it really look like? So data comes from a variety of places. So can come from application, the OS at the host level and the guest level, your various Azure resources if you're running your app on Azure, storage, compute, load balancer, et cetera, and there's a set of metadata also as well, like your subscription information, Azure tenant information, et cetera. Or you could be sourcing your own custom information. So today we are announcing custom metrics for Azure Monitor. This was earlier available only in Application Insights, but it's available now across Azure Monitor. So you can send your own metrics from different environments into Azure Monitor. So all that goes into this platform I talked about, metrics and logs. And building on top of that, we surface a variety of experiences. So the top layer are a set of insights at the application level, container, different major components you use to build your app. Or you can build your own custom solutions, leveraging a framework we provide. At the next level, once you have that overall insights, deep insights at the different layers of your stack, you want to visualize the overall environment of your app. And that's where we integrate with dashboards, different reviews, or you can integrate with Azure dashboards, Power BI, create workbooks, or integrate with other dashboards like Grafana, for example, whatever it is that is used in your environment, and then analyze. And this is where the real power comes, right? This is where you can go deep and get all your questions asked across the entire data corpus of data, and be able to do that rich, deep diagnostics across all this data to answer the really hard questions. And then you can set up alerts or auto scale. This is where the triggers happen. So the trigger could happen to an email, as simple as an email or an SMS, or if a condition is satisfied, you could trigger a logic app or something, or push it into a ITSM tool of choice to manage those alerts in a different environment. And then you can integrate with a variety of other tools in a variety of ways. We can put data into Event Hub. You can call logic apps, or you have APIs. So you can take the data out, and all the data that we collect is accessible to be plugged into other environments. So this is overall Azure Monitor, all the way from insights we provide out of the box to enabling you to visualize in different ways, providing that rich analytical capabilities to create different ways you want to respond to alarms and integrate with other tools. So I'll walk through some of the major pieces one by one, and then we'll dive into the demo. First of all, I want to announce today, we are unifying all the different parts we had. We had Azure Monitor, which was earlier only about the platform component monitoring, the low Azure platform monitoring, just at the Azure resource level. And we had App Insights, which was about monitoring applications. And then we had Log Analytics, which came from the OMS side. Now, we're unifying all of those into one product named Azure Monitor. That's a single offering for monitoring from Microsoft. And the goal is to provide one set of experiences. Firstly, for basic things like alerts, metrics, and logs. You'll just have one experience for each of those, all in the Azure portal. And secondly, there'll be a consistent way to access these monitoring information across the Azure portal. So no matter where you go in the Azure portal, you'll see one common way of accessing it in the nav across the various resource blades. There's a native integration of Azure Monitor. And then you'll see some what I call hero experiences for the major Azure services. And we're announcing a couple today. For example, we announced one at Build earlier this year for Kubernetes. This was the container monitoring capability. Today, we're announcing for virtual machine environments and resource groups. And you'll see us doing more and more of these as we go further for storage and load balancers and such, right? For major Azure resources, we'll have a rich experience to monitor the health of that particular resource. So all up Azure, one way to look at metrics, logs, alerts, and a consistent way of looking at monitoring information across the Azure portal, no matter which resource you use. And all the resources will send a consistent set of information, common dimensions, common center data elements, and so on. And this hero experience for the major Azure workloads, all built on top of a common analytics backplane, so you can look at all the data together, right? On top of that, you're able to send your own data, custom metrics, custom logs, into the same platform. And you can look at it all together and do your analysis and create your visualizations and alerts. So that's unified monitoring. Now, what are the insights we can provide with the data? First up, I want to announce this, there's a new capability, which is to provide Azure Monitor for resource groups. The idea here is we have all these pieces you can monitor: VMs, containers, your application code, Active Directory, all these different pieces. But how do you put it together? When the customer, i.e. you, cares about your app. Your app could be made of 20 different pieces, and that's really what you care about. You want to look at it all together and understand how the different parts interrelate and how a failure or an issue with one affects the other, right, all the way down. And that's the whole idea here. It's a first step, but a very meaningful step, we believe. Many of our customers have told us that they use resource groups to model either apps or significant pieces of an app already. So what we are announcing here is Azure Monitor for resource groups, where all the resources part of that resource group, we pull it together to give you that end-to-end view. What is the health of all the resources in that resource group? What are all the alerts grouped together? You'll be able to look at a dependency map, i.e. through application map or service map, the dependencies across these different resources in that resource group. And lastly, if there are failures or performance issues within that app contained in that resource group, you can drill into it right from here. So encapsulating and providing that single view of a quote-unquote your application. I believe it's a significant step, but it's not a complete by any means. We want to provide you more and more flexibility as we look forward to be able to model what your group is, what your app is. You'll see us using tags and leveraging more and more metaphors that are flexible to let you model this your app, so to speak, and pull it all together to give that encapsulated view and including all the interrelationships. Next up is the app. I started with an app level, that resource group insights, or gives you that full view. Next up is the application insights, which is really about your custom app, right? It's just about your code and how it interacts with the platform pieces, right? How it works is, in a nutshell, App Insights, for those of you who may not be familiar with it, the goal of App Insights is to let you optimize the performance of your application. So at a broad level, it collects data through SDKs. So you embed your SDK into your code. It collects a variety of data on its own automatically. And you can enrich it to send your own custom data, custom metrics, custom events, etc. And what it does with that information is it's able to give you a full map, your application map. What does the application comprise of? Various pieces. What are the hotspots? And drill into really analyze and address those hotspots, problems in those components that appear to be hot, right? You can track transactions, a single transaction, have that broad view of your dependency map, but also you're able to track transactions end to end. A request coming in from, say, into your web service, and all the way track it down as it goes through various layers, and use that to debug or troubleshoot problems that happens. There's also a richer capability to do go all the way down to your code level and diagnose issues. So you can use the profiler, so you can find bottlenecks in your code that are slowing down your overall transaction. Or if something is failing, you can go down again to the code level using our snapshot debugger. This works on production code without affecting the, having to set a breakpoint on your production code. It collects a bunch of traces and lets you debug, let's say in Visual Studio or in the Azure Monitor environment to address issues happening that affect your transactions. So that's drilling down into your code level, or you can drill up and look at how end users are experiencing your app. What are the cohorts? The different cohorts experiencing different performance characteristics, and so on and so forth. Again, it all starts with the customer, the user of the app, and what's their experience. And they're able to go from their experience down all the way down to the code level, or trace a transaction all the way through to find a problem in a dependency, right? Your code or somebody else's code. That's application insights in a nutshell. This has been around for a while, but here today we're announcing a couple of new things. We've done a lot of many enhancements to the Java. One area where we're very focused in this space is support for Linux and Java, open source environments. So if you've been using it, you would have noticed us adding more and more capabilities. So today we're announcing a number of capabilities to a new Java SDK that has a number of capabilities, collecting more data from the Java VM to Tomcat server to better sampling, support for features like live metrics, basically bringing it on par, more on parity with what we had with .NET. .NET is where we started, but Java is catching up fast. And also we're announcing 2 more SDKs, support for Python and Go language for distributed transaction tracing natively in App Insights. Previously, they were community-supported SDKs for Python. Now, there will be SDKs supported by Microsoft for these languages. Again, the emphasis is we recognize we have to embrace and extend and support open source and Linux environments as well as we have in the past with Windows and .NET, and you'll see us investing more and more in this area. Now, let's start at the app level, the encapsulation of app in our resource groups, how to monitor your code with App Insights. Now, let's look at the infrastructure layers on which your app runs. Today, we're announcing the Azure Monitor for VMs. Basically, the goal of this capability is when you have a large virtual machine environment, provide you the ability to quickly identify hotspots. Which are the VMs that are not performing well, either from they're hard on CPU, running low on memory, or having I/O issues, and so on and so forth. So identify issues at the host level or the guest level, right? And give that quick view, and you're also able to drill in and look at the dependencies in the maps visually, and trace how an issue in one particular VM may be affecting other VMs. Have that overall end-to-end view in the dependency map, right? And connection failures in the map. Since this is about managing VMs at a large scale, we are also supporting onboarding, simple onboarding using Azure policy. So you can point at your environment, VM environment, and apply a policy to enlist those VMs into this monitoring for virtual machines, and those will just automatically happen. Moving a layer up from VMs is containers, container monitoring. This is really the goal of our Azure Monitor for containers. We've had this since May, public preview. Is mainly, how does the container environment, how you've provisioned it, affect the health of your application? So is the container environment resource constrained? If you look at AKS, Kubernetes clusters, there's a fair level of complexity there, right? You have various levels like, you have clusters, you have nodes, pods, and then your app code is kind of distributed across all those pieces. how do you know your app is working well? And some of these underlying resources, say VMs, may be shared across multiple apps as well. So how do you know, one app isn't starving another app? This capability is intended to help you manage the health of the container environment so your apps can be healthy, right? That's the goal here. And so one is the health reason. Other is also to plan capacity. You may need to add more capacity or provision less, and you can use this tool to make those decisions. It guides you, provides you good information for that. Today we are announcing a couple of capabilities. One is the same view, you can manage multiple clusters. This is something our customers wanted. Give a lot of feedback. It's one of the top asked items when we released in May. And secondly, you probably heard the AKS with virtual nodes announced this week at Ignite. Container monitoring also supports that. So as you auto-scale your container AKS environment, you can actually see how it's performing in Azure Monitor. Network is also part of this, Network Watcher and network monitoring. Basically, this area is still a work in progress for us. We started from two ends of the problem, and now we're converging those. First was coming from the hybrid environment. So when you have clients from your on-prem environment connecting up to the cloud, could be your a Windows client connecting to a Office 365 or to your line of business app. So what are the bottlenecks in the network that might be causing latencies, right? So that's one problem we were solving. Separately, another problem we were solving was looking at Azure environment and providing the ability to collect flow logs from the various network service groups, and providing a set of capabilities that let you model the flow, visualize the flow, find bottlenecks, do auditing, or related to other pieces of information like malicious IP to detect anomalies. Looking forward, we're bringing all of these together into one holistic capability, network monitoring, that'll be part of Azure Monitor. Again, plugging into that full stack view I talked about, you'll be able to go from the app down to the VM and the container environment, all the way down to the network to be able to troubleshoot that full view, get that full view to troubleshoot. So another way is when you look at an app map, you'll be able to go look at not just the application pieces, and also go down to the infrastructure and all the way down to the network and troubleshoot. Underpinning all of this is log analytics, where all the data is stored, all the raw data is stored, I should say. And you probably, how many of you heard the announcement for Azure Data Explorer in Scott's keynote? Okay, great. So that is the technology underpinning log analytics. We've had extensive use inside Microsoft. It works at very large scale. It performs really, really well. So all this data we collect in Azure Monitor, raw data, is stored here, log data, trace data, all of that. And give that access back to the user. You'll see us investing more and more in this area, because ultimately we believe no matter how much of insights we provide, when containers, apps, network, ultimately, you're going to want to have to need a tool like this to go ask the questions that are very specific to your business needs, right? We provided a lot of help to get started, or even go to solve some very specific problems very deeply. But to address a full set of needs, you are going to need the access to the data, so to speak, and the power to go ask those questions and get those answered. So we started with this design principle in mind from the very beginning, right? Deep focus on analytics. And you'll see us adding more and more machine learning capabilities and such to help you detect patterns and get answers quickly, whether it's diagnosing or detection, right? With that, we'll jump into the demo.
Awesome. Let's switch over to my demo machine here. So you saw screenshots of some of the things we'll be talking about today, but I want to dive and actually show you some of these things in action. So we're going to start with a dashboard. You've seen these dashboards before. You can pin pretty much everything that we're looking at today to one of these. You can resize them, you can change the titles. You can make this your real operational dashboard. And of course, as Shiva mentioned, if you use a different dashboarding solution, we have programmatic access for you to all of the underlying data to pull it out and do whatever you need to do with it. But what I'll do right now is I'll expand my Azure menu over here, and I'll go into Azure Monitor. So this has been here for a while, but we've reorganized it. Shiva mentioned that we're unifying all of these different services and making them a lot more easy to discover and a lot more consistent across all of these different Azure services. And so let's take a look at the menu here really quick and understand what it is that we're looking at. So the overview here will tell you what's new. That's something that you guys have asked us a lot. What have you released recently? What are some new features I should go play around with? Well, press what's new and it'll take you right there. We've also got a section here about learning. That's something else where we've had a lot of feedback about being better at providing that pointer, and so that's there as well. So watch both of those. We'll keep updating them all the time as new features and capabilities come out. The activity log is still there. The activity log is sort of your platform level audit log, if you will. Who's coming in? Who's creating new resources? Who's modifying resources? What alerts have fired? Things like that. So this is incredibly useful for monitoring the Azure platform itself. Alerts is all up looking at what alerts have fired across your entire Azure environment here. We'll come back to these in a little bit actually and explore them further. We'll create some alerts, we'll look at some other interesting capabilities. Metrics. Metrics is, again, something that's been here for a while. There is this new UI that some of you will probably have experienced in various preview modes. And as Shiva mentioned, we now have the capability to ingest your own custom metrics through an API that we provide to you. So if you want this sort of low latency, multi-dimensional metric capability, you can start ingesting your own. I'll just show you really quickly what one of the built-in metrics looks like. I'll switch to my recent view, by the way, super useful feature. This little toggle here between search and show recent. I'll pick a storage account as an example. Pretty much every single Azure resource will provide these out of the box, and they'll of course be different for every Azure resource type. I'll pick a namespace. So for a blob account, you have the account itself, you have blob storage file queue, all the different things it provides. Different resources will of course have different things. You know, for a network security group, it doesn't make sense to have the blob entry here. So that'll change. And then, of course, you'll pick the metric as well. I'm going to go with transactions just for the sake of this demo. You can also pick an aggregation level. For metrics, some make sense. Different metric types will expose different aggregation levels. You can add multiple metrics, and then you can also add filters or split by multi-dimensional capabilities. So like I said, these metrics are multi-dimensional, meaning that even though I selected the account and the transactions, you can drill down even further and break this down. So if I press apply splitting, you can see that these are my dimensions, if you will. So you have response type, geotype, etc. Let's pick API name for the sake of argument, and you can see that that top level metric was split down into all of its pieces below. Now I can pin this to a dashboard, that dashboard that you saw before, one click. I can duplicate this so you can actually have multiple metrics on the same page if you want to use this as a sort of operational view. You can, of course, export things to Excel. I can configure how things look, so maybe I prefer an area chart here. I can do that. And I can create an alert and do a few other things right from here. That's metrics in a nutshell. We'll come back to it a little bit later. Likewise, logs. Logs, I'll have a whole section talking about queries and stuff like that. Service health is a very simple question. Is Azure up or down? It also answers things like, for example, is there any planned maintenance coming up? So if you're, for example, on a PaaS distribution of a VM, of course, we have to do the patching for you, and so we'll notify you there when something is coming up. And everything I'm showing you here, by the way, you can alert on, and you can get that notification, not just through the portal. So let's start diving into this section here called Insights. These are all of these solution-specific UIs that Shiva was talking about. We'll start with VMs, but also notice we have network right here, containers, application. So you don't need to know where to go and hunt around Azure here. Everything is in a single place. You can come into Monitor, and you can look at this holistically. So we'll pick VMs to start. And VMs will let you pick a subscription you're looking at. And the resource group, I'll pick one here that has some interesting data, but this will sort of start propagating by default. And right away, I can see all up within this resource group and this subscription, what's going on with my VMs? Well, we have 2 that are in critical condition. I know that there's one SEV alert that's associated with these 8 VMs in this resource group. I can see the distribution by operating system, so I can see that I have 7 Windows VMs, 1 Linux VM, 2 of the Windows VMs are critical, etc. So I have all of that distribution available to me. I also have a breakdown by the components, so we've introduced a full service health model. I'll go into that in a minute. And then you have a distribution by the core services that also make up that service health model. So we'll take a look at that in a second. But before I get there, I actually want to point out these 2 other tabs, performance and map. So health kind of gives you an all-up view. What do I need to go and really drill into and start analyzing? Performance shows kind of what it says. It looks at the performance of all of these machines encapsulated in this group. You can see your CPU utilization, memory, bytes received, bytes sent, the typical metrics that you'd want to see. And you can look at this by either top-end charts, so show me the chart for the top-hitting machines, in this case in the 95th percentile. I can look at the aggregate chart, meaning show me every single machine, and you can pick the aggregation level, average, a particular percentile, maximum, same metrics. I can also look at this as a list, and in this list, we'll try to prioritize those machines that are, again, more actionable, that we feel you should go and look at first. But of course, you can scroll through the entire list here. And there's, a few other filters here available for you to play around with. Now, maps are a component that we've had before. It was associated with this, whole OMS thing that we won't talk about. But it's really easy now, right? I come in through here. I pick my machines. By the way, there's a default thing here now called all machines, which probably everyone set up anyway if they were using this before. I pick a time range, and pretty quickly I get a map, in this case a pretty big one here, that renders pretty fast, that shows me all of my machines that I'm monitoring, how they're interacting together, what are healthy network links, what are unhealthy network links, what's calling out from external into these machines. So for example, over here I see that there's one client talking to this machine. Where are these machines reaching out to in turn? And I can keep drilling down. So for example, this machine here, I can go down to the process level and see all the processes that are running, and to the process level know what's communicating with what. I can drill in on an individual machine, a process, or a link. So for example, if I click this machine, I'll get right here the full details of it. What's the current IP address? What's the physical memory? How many CPUs do I have? What are my machine dependencies? Things like that. If I want to drill into the logs for this machine, I press log events, and here's all the different log types that we're collecting. I press one of these, takes me to my log search experience, and gives me a query to start with. If there is alerts on this machine, I'd see them right here as well. And I can do this, like I said, for a link to. I'm just going to pick a random one, maybe, let's see, something more interesting between a couple of machines. Sorry, my mouse got stuck. Anyway, you can see sort of you've got network traffic as well. So all of these capabilities provide you a sort of starting point to know where to start drilling down. And then we provide things like log analytics that will let you really get deep in and analyze things.
And the map is available right from a VM blade as well. For a single VM, you can look at the dependencies of that VM and troubleshoot if you know there is a problem there. You can drill down at a VM level or drill up into the full Azure Monitor, looking at all your machines, as well as within a resource group. So we provide all that different levels.
Yeah. I want to actually go back to the health tab. I kind of said, hey, 2 machines are critical, and that begs the question, well, what happens if I click on that? What's actually broken? So I can see these are my 2 machines. I can see when the last time the state changed. So how long has the machine been broken? And I can drill in. So let's take a look at this Contosa Web 1 machine. And notice it took me to the actual VM blade, right? So I don't need to go back. I don't need to use the search box. I don't need to find the machine. I can go right in. And you'll also notice that in the menu here, under monitoring, we still have alerts and metrics, but there's this new entry called Insights. You'll see this on every single VM in Azure. And this gives me the same view, but for a single machine that I saw before. It actually gives me a few more details. So if I go over to performance, for example, you'll see in a second here, we also have things about the disk utilization. So for example, it wouldn't make sense to aggregate these things all up across all of my machines, but for an individual machine, seeing exactly what per disk, per mount drive, things like that, what's going on is very useful. You'll also get things like, for example, a deeper set of metrics as well. And from here, you can come in and look at the logs as well, what types of logs I have, and I can see the machine properties again, the same thing I showed you before. And you can look at the map for just an individual machine. You don't have to look at that whole humongous thing. I can see just what's going on with this one particular machine. Let's go back to health, though, and I can see that there is something critical going on here. I see that it has to do something with the disk. I can see that all my core services are healthy. So let's start drilling in. I'm actually going to press this button here called View Health Diagnostics. Now, for those of you who are coming from, say, SCUM, a sort of traditional monitoring system, you'll be well familiar with this notion of a service health or a resource health. And this is sort of what we've built on top of that, right? So we'll provide you a service tree that's relevant to your machine. If it's a Linux machine, it'll look different to this one here, which is a Windows machine. And we'll sort of show you aggregated what's broken. So it's broken down in this case by availability and performance. I can press any one of these, for example, the logical disk space, which I'm seeing has an issue, and I can see when the state changed. I can press at a roll-up level, I can press at a very low-down level. And I can also press here to modify my thresholds. So for example, if 500 megabytes is not critical for you, you can change that as well. And again, of course, you can alert here too. So this is just another great capability that's sort of built right in out of the box. Now, the other button I want to show you here is something kind of sort of new. It's been available before as a package that you had to come in and manually install on your VM and then try to configure it. And it was a bit messy. I mean, it was a very useful tool, but it was difficult to get set up. But I'll press Run Diagnostics here and give it just a second. So normally, if you haven't installed this before, it's a one-click install. We use the same extension mechanism that we use to sideload the agent for the rest of the monitoring things. But in this case, I already have this piece installed. And I can press Run Diagnostics and pick an analysis level, quick, perf analysis, perf advanced, or something about the files. Now, sometimes if you file a support ticket against a VM, the support agent will actually tell you, please come in here, provide the ticket ID, and then acknowledge that you want to share this data with us. And we can sort of have this much quicker feedback loop than us trying to remote connect into your machine and all of this messiness. I already ran a few of these, so I'll pick one here from earlier. And when I press one, essentially we ran a whole suite of analysis tools behind the scenes. And here I can see right away from these insights that there's two medium recommendations. In this case, there was a high CPU level across two different things. One was, whatever that is, and I can see that IIS spiked up. And I can keep drilling in. You can see all the duration, the CPU, sort of all the insights that you would need to diagnose this issue. Now, in this case, it's only the CPU that's broken, but I could also filter this down. And I can download the report locally and analyze it if I want to do it outside of the Azure portal. So another super useful tool. Now, from here, the other button I want to show you is this one here called Resource Group Monitoring. Hopefully, all of you remember the resource group capabilities that Shiva showed you, the one that rolls up everything in your resource group, not necessarily across your entire Azure deployment. So I don't need to actually know what resource group that VM I was looking at is in. I just press that button, takes me to the right place. And I can see here, rolled up, that I have some application running, some compute, some management, some networking, and a few other things. I can change my aggregation level. So right now it's grouped by app layer and resource. I can group this by location. I can group this by nothing. I just want to see a flat list of everything in this resource group. And for each one of these, right now you get essentially a list of alerts that are firing against a particular resource. You get your VM health. So for example, for your VMs, the thing we looked at earlier with the service tree, the service health tree, that's there. You can also choose to show the Azure resource health there. We hide it by default because, well, knock on wood, Azure is normally up, so we don't want to just show a big list of green. Makes it a little easier to look at. And we also tell you whether you have all of these insights enabled or not, so that you know where you're missing visibility, and you can come in and enable things very quickly. If I drill into application, for example, I can see that I have some things hosted on app service, and I can see that on this particular app service, I actually have application insights enabled. We'll look at application insights in a minute. On compute, similarly, we have a bunch of VMs, and I can see whether things are turned on or not, whether machines are healthy or not. This machine actually has some alerts configured on it, so I can drill further in and see whether the alerts are firing or not. Now, for all of these, we also try to make this actionable, right? So again, this is something that we're going to keep building up. This is our first take on it. But you can see this actions drop down here. And if I select it, I can go and add an alert on this VM right from here. I know that it's Azure Monitor isn't enabled, so I can press Enable. And if it was enabled, I could go into that health view or the map or the performance view, again, right from here, from this drill down.
Speaking of alerts, one new capability, which we won't demo here, we just added was, just announced, was multi-resource alerts. So just like Evgeny showed, you can set an alert on one VM. You could send an alert on all those VMs, a single alert, because you don't want to create an alert and copy that same condition across each of those other VMs. So you can create one alert across multiple resources. This is something many of you have asked for in the past. So that capability is available now.
Cool.
You're supposed to clap now for that.
Yeah.
Also, just to go back a little bit on the Azure Monitor for VMs that Evgeny showed, this really came out of a lot of feedback from customers, especially coming from the on-prem world. With SCOM, you had that rich health monitoring capability for your VM environments, guest and host. And that's really what we had in mind, create that similar rich experience in the cloud. And it'll especially be useful, not just for them, but especially as people migrate workloads from on-prem to cloud. They should find this very useful with the maps, the mapping capability.
Yeah, so let's talk about what else you can do from the resource group view here. You can access your alerts, metrics, or activity logs right from here. They look the same as they did previously. They're just scoped down to this one resource group. You can look at your application map or VM map. So we'll look at the application map in a bit. The VM map is what you've already seen me demo against VMs. And I also have two further views. One is around failures, one is around performance. So we know that there's some alerts going on. We know that there's some issues with your VM health. I might want to drill in and take a look at the failures or performance. So let's go and take a look at these. For failures here, you get a similar view with the roll-up. But this time, all the different columns reflect different things that are pertinent to failure metrics. Your request failure rate, your dependency failure rate, exceptions, activity log level failures, things like that. So I can drill in and I can sort of see all of that. I can also drill into investigative services provided by some of these resources. So App Services provides out of the box this investigation experience. And I could click that and go right there. Or I can click the Application Insights button and go to Application Insights and investigate things there if I'm instrumented. So these menu items are, by the way, filtered to just what I have in my resource group. So if you don't have Application Insights, you won't see that button. So we try to make it very obvious what capabilities you have. Now, I know that I actually have some storage and some SQL in this particular environment. And so when I'm investigating failures, I can press one of those and I can drill down. And this is the notebooks capability that previously we've only had in Application Insights, now built into a much broader scope. And we've actually built some of these notebooks or investigative, essentially TSGs, for you right out of the box. So for example, for storage, if I want to look more at my, I don't know, let's pick files. I don't know if there's actually any data here or not. But we have these reports available for you out of the box. This one, I guess there's not a whole lot going on with files, but these charts would, of course, populate. I can pick, filter down, and I can come in here and start editing these. I can add custom graphics. I can add custom instructions. So perhaps you want to provide your operations team some detail below the file count graph that says if you see a sharp drop, go here, execute this command, call this person, whatever it is. So we support metrics, we support logs, we support Markdown. So a full, rich experience as far as these reports are concerned. And like I said, these are available for your top Azure resources if there isn't already one of those very rich experiences like VMs available out of the box. Now, performance looks very similar. Except, of course, we'll be looking at the performance pivot. So in this case, VMs does have that rich experience, and so we'll promote it for you right here. And you can see, again, that same set of graphs that we've previously seen. And I can drill in and look at storage and databases, and I can look at application insights and app service right from here as well. So the idea here is really, as you're looking at your application level monitoring, right? An application is made up of some resources. And like Shiva mentioned, right now we're starting with resource group as a way to group all of those resource groups, or all of those resources rather, together. And see all up, what is being provided by all of these resources? What's my holistic view of how healthy everything there is? Not just the infrastructure, not just the network, not just the application. How's everything put together looking? So I want to actually go back to Monitor and take a look at another one of these rich experiences, which is containers. Now, we've had Azure Monitor for Containers, or Container Insights, if some of you remember the previous name, for about a half a year now. We announced it at Build. But there's a few things that changed now at Ignite. First is this multi-cluster view. Previously, you had to go to an individual AKS deployment and look at just that. Now we actually give you this holistic experience. The other really cool thing, and by the way, this is available for VMs as well. I didn't show it there. But you'll have an idea of what's being monitored and what's not being monitored. And if I go into the non-monitored section, I can enable it right from here. So we try to make it as easy as possible to get all of these insights very quickly. Now, if you know something about workspaces, you can select one here. But we'll just create one for you by default if you don't care about the workspaces. And more you'll see us move to a model where workspaces aren't something you need to worry about. You really care about the data in them. So you'll see more and more of that. But I can press enable and everything will get provisioned, hooked up. Everything will work as hopefully expected. Network is here too, just for the sake of time. I don't have full time to go into that, but there's actually a separate drill down session on the networking capability. So if that's something that interests you, we have a list of it at the end. We'll have a slide with all of the different drill down sessions. Now let's go back to my monitored cluster, and I'll pick one of these, doesn't really matter which. So for those of you who haven't seen Azure Monitor for Containers before, looks very similar to VMs, except it provides specific capabilities that are relevant to containers. So here's my cluster view. Here's some metrics around clusters. I can add a filter here. So for example, if I don't want to look at the system containers, I can exclude those. I can look at nodes. So this particular machine or this particular environment has 3 nodes running. I can drill down. I can see what's running on each node, the different controllers and such. I can see the aggregation levels available to me, etc. I can look at the controllers, I can look at the containers, and for each one I have sort of a view of, well, what's the trend? So I can very simply, visually, try to figure out where I need to concentrate my investigations. You can go and look at the resource group right from here as well. So just like we were able to from VMs, for most resources, you'll be able to go back and look at that resource group view too. Now, just like in VMs, I can drill down into my logs. So I'll press this button here, and let's start talking a little bit about the logs experience. Previously, this was what we refer to as log analytics. We've simplified it. It's just logs. But we pre-populated the query. In this case, it doesn't look like we have anything interesting to look at. So I'll switch over to another window, and let's actually start running some of these queries. So as Shiva mentioned, this is based on Azure Data Explorer, a new data platform that we announced yesterday. A new data platform as far as public goes. We've been using it internally, including exposing it to you through log analytics and application insights for quite some time now. So it's a proven capability that's able to query very large volumes of data and get you back results very quickly. It's meant for you to be able to investigate your data, analyze it, interact with it. It's not meant to be something where you type in a query and then come back an hour later and see what happens, right? You're in a monitoring situation. You're trying to figure out very quickly what's wrong, where I need to concentrate. So let's actually write some queries. I'll spend about 5 minutes. For those of you who have used the query language before, apologies. But I'll come back and I'll actually show you some more complex queries that I've gathered from a bunch of customers. I do want to make sure that all of you have this foundational basis to be able to come in here and at least write the most basic of queries, because this is a foundational piece for us. So let's take a look at our events table. And every query starts with the data source. So in this case, I'll look at events. And notice IntelliSense autocomplete pops up and tells me exactly what I want as far as the capabilities that I have. So here I have a table called events, a table called ETW events, etc. I'll press tab to lock it in, and now I can do something with it. I'll just say take 100 and press run, or in my keyboard shift enter, to get an idea of what the data looks like. Pretty quickly, 3 seconds, it comes back. Notice also we have this new filters capability that automatically pops up. And essentially what this does is profile my full data set, in this case, the last 24 hours of the event table, and tell me what the different variations of data are. So I have 37 different computers that I'm monitoring in the event table, and here's my top 10 and how often they appear. Here's the different messages. Here's the different source systems. And we'll try to hide things that are sort of very diverse, where it's just 1 or 2 instances here or there. For example, your timestamp. You'd never really want to look at a specific one. And I can press a combination of things, press apply and run, and it will filter things down for me. So another cool capability. And of course, I can go back to the schema. I can also change, if you are using workspaces, I can change that here. I won't. If you don't know what workspaces are, doesn't matter. Like I said, we're moving more and more away from them. But if you are, know that that filter is there. So, okay.
We used to have a search portal in the Azure portal access, and we used to have 2 portals outside of Azure to do the advanced analytics. Right now, all of these are converging to one experience, surfaced from those logs, accessible from any Azure resource. We're still working our way to add this to all the Azure resources. Couldn't get it done in time for today, but you'll see this across the Azure portal, and you'll get this one consistent experience, a singular one. And we'll retire those other experiences. What was the OMS portal, the analytics portal, 2 of those outside, everything gets consolidated.
Yeah. So I'll show you probably the most important thing you'll ever use, the most important operator, which is where. And where lets you filter things. So here I might want to filter things down to a computer. And so I'll say where computer, and then it knows all the different things you can do with computer. I can do an equality, I can do contain, starts with case insensitive equal. Let's just do equal. And then it knows this is a string, so it adds the quotes for me. And it looks like there's, let's just pick a simpler name for me to type, Contoso Web 2. That's a simple one. I'll press that, I'll press run again, and we'll get our data back pretty quickly. Right? Notice also, so I want to also give you some best practices. This is an interactive querying language, so notice I'm not going back and modifying an existing query, I'm kind of copying it and building on it, so that if I, let's say, start investigating and run into a dead end, I can always go back and start from a previous place and keep drilling down a different path of investigation. So the other one I want to show you is summarize, and summarize is how you do aggregations and visualizations. So I can say summarize, and here's all my different aggregations types. I can do averages, counts, distinct counts, all of that. I'll just do count in this case. And let's say, what's an interesting one? Let's aggregate this by the event level. So I'll type in event level. IntelliSense pops up as well. Run that, and I get the results back. Again, super quick. I can also visualize things right here. For those of you who haven't seen this capability before, I can pin these visualizations to a dashboard as well. I can link this query, send the query out to my colleagues so that they can continue investigating. Of course, I can save these queries. I can share these queries. And something else that's new here is the ability for me to create an alert on these queries right from here. So we've had the ability to alert on logs for quite some time, but you had to do this sort of messy thing of creating an alert, copying the actual query text, pulling it out into the alert. We're starting to integrate these experiences more and more. And so if I press the Set Alert button here, it will create the alert for me, pre-populate the resource, pre-populate the query, do everything that I need minus saying what I want to do with the alert. So 3 queries. This is like not quite 80%, but let's say 75% of everything you'll ever need to do, right? If you remember where, if you remember summarize, and if you know where to press the button to do the charting, this is most of what us ourselves ever do. Now, customers, people come to me and go, listen, it's a new query language. Why do I need to learn this? First of all, it's pretty simple to learn. And to prove that, I gathered a bunch of queries that look complex, but these are all coming from real customers in the field. And this is kind of what happens after you start playing around for a week or two. So the first query here is someone who wanted to take a look at their IIS SLA. So they're hosting a website in IIS, and they had essentially SLA to their customers around the response time. And so they built this query where they visualized what the actual, in this case, I think they're doing the 99th percentile of their request rate, comparing it to their 99th percent SLA. They pin this to a dashboard, and just like that, they know right away whether they're meeting their customer demands or not. This next one's kind of interesting. This is someone who was monitoring a SQL database, SQL server, and they were actually capturing every single query coming in. So pretty verbose log, but they were really concerned about the SQL server because it was very mission critical to them. And so here I'm just mocking up some data because obviously I can't share a customer's SQL queries with you. But essentially what happens is I can press execute here, and then they provide a list of the tables that they're interested in. And they wanted to see, for the sake of optimization, where they need to concentrate and maybe optimize their indices and stuff like that, what's getting used the most by what users. And so they do just a little bit of querying here. Yes, there's a join. Joins aren't that scary. But they essentially get back a list of the database name, user. They do an aggregation level per day, table name, and how many queries this particular user ran in this database. So taking a very simple set of data and getting some very advanced analytics out of it. This next one is around processor usage. So, you typically want to know what's the top used resource or the top used, what's the process that uses the most CPU on my machine? Let's just put it that way. But some processes, take Chrome, for example, or Excel, they actually spin up multiple different executables for the same general program, and you kind of want to analyze them together. So here we're actually doing some regex, and we're collapsing different, say, tabs in Chrome into a single view. So you can see that here, and again, we're charting this over time. This one here is also around perf counters. Someone essentially wanted to know, for every machine, show me these different metrics I'm interested in a tabular form. So what's the latest memory, the latest processor time? Now, this was actually before Azure Monitor for VMs. That visual experience was available. Today, of course, they just use that. But for the sake of the query, I wanted to show you this.
So this is really the power of the analytics I was talking about earlier. No matter what charts we show, rich views we provide, every customer has a unique question or a variant of a question, and that's where they want to go deep and build their own custom views. And that's really why the value of the analytics platform. One thing we should mention is there is for those of you who want to learn the language, there's a rich 4-hour course available in multiple parts online. You can learn at your own pace. We have a link to that later. But we see more and more people actually learning, taking the learning, and also sharing these type of examples, useful examples,
Right.
so others can benefit from what they've created.
Yeah, so there's a bunch more queries here, and I could spend my 40 minutes that I have with you on these alone. But I actually want to announce something new coming next week. Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, I assume pretty much everyone here uses it if you're using Azure. One of our top requests for the type of data to ingest is Active Directory, and so as of next week, you'll be able to do that through diagnostic settings. I have just a sample tenant here. You'll just come into diagnostic settings, say I want to ingest, right now we're enabling sign-in logs and audit logs, soon we'll enable some other data types. And once you do, you've got a logs entry right here. So Shiva was talking about the fact that you'll be able to access logs right from your resource. So I can come here and I can say logs, and I can start analyzing these. So it'll take just a second. It's doing a search star, which is saying essentially, show me every single log ever ingested. But you can see, here's my audit logs. There's a few sign-in logs in here as well. And these are super verbose, right? So if you have conditional access policies, you can now query across all of these, and this one has a lot of those. You can look at the location details, things like that. Now, the other really cool thing is, and we're going to be integrating this a lot better. Like I said, this is, again, our first take on it. But if we actually come into the log analytics resource, we're going to be providing you some views out of the box to start. So we're going to be providing you one view around audit logs and another around sign-in logs. So let's just go into sign-in logs, and I'll show you an example of what this looks like. These will be up on our GitHub. Look, again, for a blog next week for us, where you'll be able to get all of this, details about how to install all of this. And if I drill down enough, I can start doing querying on all of this data. So super, super excited to have Active Directory on board. And by the time we're here next year, look for more and more of these data types to be available, and available natively from Azure like that, where you see the logs entry, where you see a full rich experience for it, built specifically for that resource type. Thank you. So we talked about logs. Let me quickly show you the alerting. I actually pre-populated some stuff here. Essentially, what you need to do is you need to select what you want to alert on. Then you come in and you add the criteria. And alerts, like everything else, is unified. So one logs, one metrics, one alerts. So alerts can alert on metrics. You can alert on activity logs. If I had any actual logs attached to this, diagnostic logs, if you will, I would see those too. But I'll pick something simple here, like percentage CPU. I can see my CPU. I can set a threshold either visually, or I can type it in. I can pick the aggregation level. I can also set a dynamic threshold here if I want. So this is where the threshold is essentially calculated for me based on historical data, including seasonality. So if you have, for example, a process that's running every day and you experience a spike every day, dynamic thresholds will pick that up and essentially say, hey, we expect this to rise, so, set the thresholds accordingly. You can set the period and the frequency, give it a name, and then the action groups here is kind of what happens when one of these alerts gets fired. So I'll give it a name, a short name, subscription, etc. And here's all the different things you can do. You can send an email, you can run an Azure function, you can run a logic app. If you've not played around with functions or logic apps, fantastic capabilities. Heavily encourage you to take a look at those. Webhooks, so this is a generic API I want to call. ITSM, we natively integrate with a bunch of third-party ITSM providers, and Shiva will talk more about this in a minute. But if you're using ServiceNow, Cherwell, Provence, or even SCCM back from the old SCOM days, we integrate with all of those natively. Or if you want to do automatic remediation, we support runbooks, which is another type of Azure resource, another Azure service, where you can run PowerShell or Python-based remediation scripts right on your VMs through the same agent that we use to monitor them. So that's alerts really briefly. Now, I want to flip over, go back to my monitor over here, and talk about applications for a second. So for applications, we have Application Insights. This is our APM offering. And I could pick one from here, but I'm actually going to flip over to another resource group and start with that resource group view. So I'll press Insights. And you'll notice that some of my applications are instrumented with application insights. I'll pick just one of these. And let's start by taking a look at the application map. So I showed you the VM map before. That was mostly network-based, what's communicating with what. Application map, actually, we don't care as much about that. This is more, how is my user experience? What's happening in the code? So this is based on SDKs. Like Shiva mentioned, we have SDKs available for the most common data platforms out there, and we're building the set of data platforms that we support up every day. So today, we're announcing that we have full support for Python and Go as far as all of this is concerned. Distributed tracing, mapping. So you can see here I've built an application map of all of my different application tiers. I have a front end here that's hosted on one instance. It's talking to two worker roles. One worker role is communicating with another. I have some Azure table storage here. I have a Redis cache. I can press on any one of these or a given link, and I can drill and start investigating. So for example, this one here, I'm seeing 17% failure rate. I can click on it, and I can see exactly what's failing. So maybe I want to pick this get async operation here. This will take me to the failures experience, and the failures experience is, I can sort of interact with it here. I can drill down to a specific time window. I can look at server side or client side. I can look at dependencies, exceptions, sort of filter things down in the UI to specifically what I want to be investigating. And then once I have that filtered down, I can drill down into the raw data. So like I said, everything is based on this logs platform. I can go and ultimately drill down and look at the individual exceptions or individual issues that led to this. And in this case, you also notice the distributed transaction view. So what led to this exception? What APIs were called? What services were invoked? In this case, you can see that we tried to call out to this get login screen. You can see the exact API path. You can look at the exception. You can see your full stack trace over here of exactly what went wrong where. There's also a link here to the debug snapshot if we want to consult.
With the end-to-end transaction, it's as useful as, it's basically an interop, right? You want to have the full support for all the different components. In our environment, in a Windows ecosystem, Microsoft ecosystem, and elsewhere. So what we've done is, to get that broader interop, we're partnering with Google. We partnered with Google, and we formed this working group in W3C to basically create a standard for tracing. So we get we figured between the two of us, Microsoft and Google, we bring enough, weight to kind of make this a standard and drive broad adoption. So you'll see the map that Evgeny showed light up more and more technologies because it's going to be all are going to be based on the common standard. So we'll be talking more about this in the coming months. But this is an initiative already started and actively in progress to get that broader interop for the tracing.
Yeah, so just like failures, you have a performance view where you can start taking a look at maybe what led to this spike here. And I can keep drilling down. For the sake of time, I won't. You also have a full set of usage features here. So if you want to look at what users are using your product, where they're coming from, how they're moving through your application, all of that's available as well. Ignite is, more IT ops, DevOps focused. So if you want to learn more about this APM, more developer level tools that we have available, come talk to us at our booth. And I think that's where I'll stop today. We'll flip over to the slides. There's a ton here to cover. Again, this is a 200-level session, right? We can only cover so much. We have a ton of drill-down sessions, as you'll see, and so come talk to us if anything there piqued your interest.
So to quickly recap the new things we showed.
Thank you.
We showed the unified monitoring experience, which Evgeny partially showed, but really bringing everything together, a consistent end-to-end experience across the Azure portal surface, integration into the native Azure blades, providing the richer, consolidated capabilities like for resource groups, VMs, containers, and such. Some new services onboarding to Azure Monitor like Active Directory, ability to send custom metrics. So a lot of things around basic monitoring, really providing that full consolidated view. As well as the fuller insights, support for more languages and frameworks. I mentioned Java, bringing more in parity with .NET. There's also support for Spring Boot, which is one of the popular Java frameworks many of our customers wanted, I've been asking for. And a bunch of features that are more at scale. Larger companies, businesses ask us, hey, how do I onboard to a solution like a capability like VM monitoring at scale through policy? I have virtual networks. I want to send my data through my virtual network. How do I configure that? Or when the data goes and gets stored somewhere, I want that to be a firewall restricted storage account. Or how do I monitor express routes and NSG flow logs across subscriptions? More and more complexity that happens comes from our larger clients. So just scaling this out to support broader, bigger environments. Here is I'll let you read it offline, but here's a customer. We showed you container monitoring, AKS monitoring. Here's a customer, Norwegian power provider, and they've been using our AKS monitoring. They adopted AKS, first of all, to automate their metering so they can bill their customers on time and correctly. And for that environment, they use our monitoring, and they're very happy with it. And you can see a case study come out of this. They'll talk about the experience. Very nice stuff. Looking beyond workflow integrations, as we talked, we showed a lot about our environment, all the capabilities we have. But we do recognize there is more outside monitoring. And how do we plug into various different workflows to support your overall needs? First up is there's a good integration in the IDE, Visual Studio, and VS Code. It's very easy to enable monitoring. It's also possible to view monitoring right there in your code. The whole idea is to bring it as early as possible. So if developers can have access to that information and fix problems right there, that's good for everyone. Next up is, as you onboard to Azure pipelines, or you may be using that for release management, or DevOps projects, you're able to turn on monitoring very easily. It's a simple check. And as you use CI/CD, continuous deployment using Azure pipelines, you can set quality gates, either pre-deployment and post-deployment as well. So you're able to catch problems based on actual performance of your app as early as possible before they go into production. And then even do pre-prod testing in pre-prod environments, run load tests or multi-step web tests to test your service before you roll it out into production. And once it's in production, almost always something goes wrong, maybe outside your control. When that happens, you're able to create a work item and have it routed to the right person who should be looking at it with all the right contextual information. Again, another piece of the workflow, how to support that end-to-end workflow. Or you can use our ITSM integration that Evgeny talked about, functions, a logic app, or one of the built-in connections we have to plug into your existing environment. Could be ServiceNow, Cherwell, Provence. We'll be adding more and more of those.
By the way, hope all of you have been noticing, but there's a little call out for all of these about the drill down sessions you want to go to if you want to learn more about a particular area. Slides are available, of course, so just come back to them, take a look, or talk to us.
Yeah. And there's integration with other monitoring. We also recognize that, some of you maybe want to use your familiar tools. You may be using one of the tools up there, either a Splunk or a New Relic or a Datadog, because that's what you've been using on-prem. When you come to Azure, you want to continue using that, and that's perfectly fine with us. We welcome that. We'll provide first-class integration. We'll expose the data so these other tools can integrate with those and let you use your manage your environment with familiar tools. And keep going. And there's a whole other class of partners as well. We're actively working with partners to provide more richer monitoring around specific workloads. So for Azure itself and basic compute storage, you will see us providing this rich experiences. Like Evgeny showed for VMs, Active Directory, we'll see us adding for storage, and so more and more of those, right? But for other workloads that are non-platform or non-Azure, We're working with partners to complement that. So say SAP or Oracle. In fact, there are already some available from partners like Blue Medora, who help me monitor the health of some of those applications and technologies. AIOps, I just want to talk a little bit about it. We understand as you go into containers and microservices, the amount of data, the data overload is just too much, right? The data is just growing faster and faster. While you want to have access to data at a very granular level, no single person can look at all the information and make sense out of it, right? So this is where we rely on AI technologies to detect patterns. There's a couple of things we could not show you today. We've started focusing on a couple of targeted areas to solve the problem. First, around alerting. So there's a dynamic threshold capability that lets you avoid static thresholds. Instead, look at the patterns and set thresholds based on that, so you don't have these false alerts. Second is a capability called smart grouping, where when something goes wrong, especially at a lower level in the stack, the alerts just fire, right? Come all over, and you're just flooded with all these different alerts. Now, smart grouping helps. We detect these patterns and group them together. So a set of these different alerts are really one incident, and you want to really be able to look at those. In many cases, we can compress it to 95 or even 98%, right, to reduce that noise. So that's an area where we're targeting and focusing. Another area is around the analytics, bringing this machine learning pattern recognition. So how can you spot trends as you're looking at the data, giving that raw power in the analytics in the query language that Evgeny showed? Or if you're comparing one period to another period where there's an anomaly or different behavior, what changed? What might have changed? To give you those clues. And machine learning is really good at this, looking at the data and finding these patterns that your human eye, it's hard to form. We're also working with third-party companies who are really innovating in this space. An example I want to mention is NML Stream. They're a small startup based out of Stanford, basically. And they have done some very cool work, and we've actually used it ourselves. Again, we've integrated the App Insights, the data, to find anomalies or help you find why, when a problem happens, when a KPI is not performing the way you expect it, what might be the cause of it across your dependency chain, looking at all the different parts of your application map and finding the causality and helping you diagnose. What might take hours to do, they help you do it in minutes. Again, we want to create an ecosystem where not only we are innovating, but there are a set of partners who are innovating on top of us and bringing that value to you, right? As we look forward, I won't read through all of it. You'll see us complete out the unified monitoring, so that one consistent experience. We're most of the way there. We'll go push for it, complete it. So there's one way of doing monitoring across Azure Portal. We'll add more and more richer experiences, like what we showed for Active Directory and VMs. You'll see us go across Azure, and all the major services will have that richer capability. You'll see us doing more and more for containers. That container monitoring service that Evgeny showed, the adoption has been phenomenal. I was very surprised by how fast it's growing. That really, speaks to the overall adoption of containers in Azure and in other cloud environments. So you'll see us adding more and more support for containers, and doing more with AI ops, bringing more the ML capability around alerting, detection, and tracing. I talked about driving it as a standard, because that correlation context is the glue that ties everything together as your transaction flows across your entire app, across all the components. So you'll see us doing work with the rest of the industry to pushing that and making that a reality. More support for open source technologies, Python, Go, Java, improve support for Java, make it better and better. Ruby, you'll see us add support for more and more of those other languages and frameworks. And expand to more regions. Last but not least, latency improvement. We recognize your business is getting this shorter and shorter windows to react and fix things. So getting the latency down to when we can detect and alert you and help you troubleshoot, that's super critical. And that's very, very important to us. And we're very focused on that problem, really bring that end-to-end latency down. Going from several minutes to a few minutes to down to less than a minute. There's many resources here, docs, tutorials. We've updated all of these with the new information and also taken feedback and made them better, improved them. There is that language course I talked about. And you know, people have done it, speak very well of it. It's been very useful. And many sessions on related topics. I think all but one of them, the second from the left, is still to come. So tomorrow or the day after. Lastly, don't forget to evaluate us. Hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you all.
Thank you.